In a major constitutional development, the Joint Committee of the Senate and House of Representatives on Constitution Review has approved the creation of an additional state in the Southeast geopolitical zone. The decision came at the end of a two-day retreat in Lagos where lawmakers reviewed 55 proposals for state creation nationwide. The session, chaired by Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin and co-chaired by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, resolved that a new state in the Southeast would promote fairness and equity. Kalu and other lawmakers noted that the move would give the region a stronger sense of inclusion in the federation. The committee also formed a subcommittee to review 278 proposals for new states and local government areas submitted from across the country. A political analyst, Professor Simeon Nnah, joins us now to discuss the implications of a National Assembly Joint Committee approval for the creation of a new state in the Southeast. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, the Joint Committee has approved the creation of a new state in the Southeast, a decision that many believe addresses regional equity. How significant is this move in terms of political and social inclusion for the Southeast region? Or is it another political bait where no state has been created since 1999, despite so much noise on state creation?
You will recall that this issue came to the front burner in 2014 confab. The wise men then said before any other state can be created in Nigeria, an additional state should be created in the Southeast. And it stemmed from the fact that it is being said that Nigeria was standing, because I don't know whether it's still standing now, on a tripod. And the other two standings of the country has more states. Even the people that you call the minority, because I hear people call South the minority. In fact, I was in a program, I think that was in 2010, and they were saying the minorities, I had butterfly flying in my tummy. So I rose up and asked, who are the minorities? And they said, am I a stranger in Israel? The South are the minority. I say, how? They have 6 states, and the people they are calling the major ethnic group have 5 states. How can you rationalize that? How can you now say they are the minorities? You people have made Nigeria, by design, the minorities. So this is a welcome development that is, if at the end of the day, it will pass into law and signed into law. Because for a very long time, this agitation has raged on. And most of us thought that the 2014 confab would have addressed that. But it never was. The 2014 confab have been kept in the shelf. They only go there to pick and choose the one they want. Thank God they have approved it now. Let's pray that will be sent to the president for assent, and the president will give his assent.
All right, so would you say that there's an actual point to the creation of the states, and do you feel that it can actually accomplish what the Senate is actually looking for, that is the establishment of equity and fairness?
Of course, yes. Recall that immediately after the war, Gowon said there will be 3 hours. And those 3 hours, I can tell you for free, none of them was done. Reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reintegration. None of them has been properly done. The only thing he did was to reconstruct the Niger Bridge, the first Niger Bridge, because it was only the way, the gateway to get to the other parts of the country. So after that, no other thing was done. It was just rhetorics. So if this is done now, it will give the Southeast a sense of belonging. Maybe that they are beginning to reintegrate them into the system, because everything has been happening. We are not strangers in Israel. We are not strangers in this country. We know what has been happening, that the marginalization of the Southeast is not something anybody can gloss over. So the inclusion now will give them a sense of belonging. I want to believe that.
All right, so from a political perspective, how might this development affect the balance of power in Nigeria's federal structure?
Well, from what I said before, you can agree with me that the president, if he gives his assent to this, will have scored a cheap political point that will equally help his position, because he wants the South for the next election. He wants the South badly for the next election. So at the end of the day, yes, it has given the Southeast a sense of belonging, and politically, the president has equally solved a problem that has been lingering on for a very long time. I think it's a good one if he's able to do that.
All right, so interestingly, there are still 278 proposals on the table for new states and local government areas pending review. What do you think this signals about the ongoing demand for restructuring across Nigeria, and how likely is it that more states will be created in the near future?
Well, if they want to create more states in the near future, they must look at the viability of those states. And again, you see, there have been agitation for states, and that agitation will not stop. Recall that it was agitation that led to creating the fourth region when we had three regions: the North, the West, and the East. And then the Midwest started agitating, and at the end of the day, a Midwest region was created. So agitation has been there from time immemorial. It's not a new thing. From 1999 to date, they were told that there had been agitation for state creation. The number of states that agitating for creation, well, as far as I'm concerned, most of them are not viable. Some of the states today can't even sustain themselves, and they want additional states. There are places that when you talk of additional states, it will make sense. States that can sustain themselves now. So if you carve out another state from there, it could make sense, because that one could still sustain himself. But not a state that will only function at the end of the month when it goes to FEC to collect allocation and come back to spend the feeding bottle economy. It is not working. So creating of more states now, they have to be very, very, very serious about it. And that's why I said earlier, I pray that the president will sign this one into law, because I know the politics behind this creation of state. It has done a huge politics in Nigeria. Look at, okay, let me give you an example. Look at when Delta was created. You know where the capital was sited? Instead of at the central place, it was sited at the outskirts of Delta. Why? Because of political reasons.
All right, so now that the approval is in place, how do you anticipate this will play out politically, especially as Nigeria approaches the upcoming elections, the very next elections? Could the creation of this new state become a significant political issue in the coming months?
Of course, I said that earlier. The president is going to score a cheap political point with that if he signs that into law, and is going to use that to, garner votes for that new state. Because if eventually it's created before the next election and things are done properly, and he who pays the piper dictates the tone. It will be at the beck of corn of him to determine who is going to be a governor in that state. I'm not saying he's going to appoint a person, but you know how these things play out. The political maneuvers will begin. And because he wants the South, more especially the Southeast, badly, he's going to do everything to ensure that the governor that will come up from that state will be the one that supports his political party. So he's going to score a cheap political point with that. And maybe that's one of the major reasons why they will sign it easily, so that that state might start before the coming election. Or even if it didn't start then, they will make moves, start appointing people or giving people sensitive positions so that they can walk towards that state, the new state, to help the president achieve his purpose in 2027.
All right, thank you very much. That was political analyst Simeon Nnah speaking on the creation of a new state in the Southeast. Thank you so much for your opinions.